Hello, this is Peg with Craft Room Stories, and we are going to do some scrap busting today. Okay, this is a teeny tiny example of my scraps. Let me just tell you, I have a filing cabinet that one whole drawer of it has file folders where my scraps are organized by color. It's sad. Now, some of the pieces are bigger than others where I've just cut a smaller piece off of it, like, you know, this piece here. But I just want to make a dent in the scraps. It's making me crazy, and it's got to go. It's got to go. So we are going to do this today. And if you guys would like to get rid of some of your scraps, this is a good way to do it. Now, I know last time I did a masterboard, it was a fabric masterboard, way more fun than the paper masterboard, in my opinion. But that's because I have a deep and abiding love for fabric. But I also like paper. So we're just going to glue some paper today, and we're going to tell some stories maybe. And we're just going to get to going. So right now I've got green on top, so we're going to start with green, and let's get moving. Okay, so the places where I've already, you know, got it on the edge, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to tear where you don't see this core of white paper. Personally, I don't like that as much, and so and I don't want to sit around inking every piece because I would just eventually lose the will to live. So how are you guys doing today? Tell me in the comments what's been going on in your lives. I like to hear, not because I'm nosy, although maybe a little bit nosy. So my life has consisted of kind of just shuttling my husband to the doctor, or my animals to the doctor, or, as you know, I had to go to the emergency room. Gibson, I'm making a video. Go be nice. So he's over here being nosy. Gibson is my white and tan pit bullish type dog. All my dogs are mutts and rescues, or a mix. Like Itty is a rescue from a family member who really just couldn't keep her. And she's a dorky, a dachshund Yorkie, a tiny little 8-pound dog. When I got her, she was 5 pounds and 2 years old, and now she's 12 and a half, bless her. And she just keeps doing stuff to hurt herself. This time she got like bad diarrhea and vomiting. I'm not sure from what, although I think she might have eaten a poisoned wasp. I don't know, but they said not to worry about it unless she, you know, if the medicine didn't help, that then we would probably have to hospitalize her. Okay, I didn't put that right on the edge, but in my mind I did. So I forgot to get my I use this little scraper because it kind of spreads the glue out a little bit. But originally it goes with my Silhouette machine to scrape the remnants of paper off. Once we're done with this, I'll trim the edges so it looks all nice and pretty. So I'm just going to keep going with this because I really like the colors in this. Quite fun. But some of these papers, I had not very much of them. They were either given to me or came in a paper pad where, you know, you had only 1 or 2 or 3 pages of it. And in one house that we lived in, I had learned from my stepdaughter. She did this in a house once. And we decoupaged all the shelves with paper and then sealed them really well so that they could be easily cleaned. And it was so pretty. We just tore bits, just like making a masterboard, except it was on a shelf. And it was so pretty. And I took all of my purple papers, because I was doing my kitchen in purple, and I did all purples. And then in a different shelf, in another, I think in the spare bathroom rather, I did some greens, and it was so pretty. So that's a fun thing to do. Plus, I just love decoupage. Now, I know I've done a video on decoupage before, and, you know, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to spread these out, but I'm not using, you know, you're going to cut it up, and they're not going to be normal. I mean, you know, they're not going to be side by side anyway, so it doesn't really matter where I put it. But I just find decoupage really fun. And I like to, I decoupaged around a mirror that had a pretty ugly frame. And I decoupaged, and it was like, I think it was actually kind of a plastic frame. And it worked really well. And I decoupaged a picture frame. I think I've told you that. I probably am retelling stuff. So you want to hear my latest saga? I can't tell you like all the details, but I was changing the sheets of my bed in the middle of the night, so kind of groggy. That's all you need to know about that. But anyway, it had to be done. Itty was still asleep in the covers, and I knew she was there. And in my mind, I had kind of really moved her and put her in her, I forgot to get a thing, a wipe. I had moved her into her stroller, dog stroller, so that I could make the bed. When I tossed the sheets and the mattress cover onto the floor so that I could get them off and make the bed, I heard a thump. And I was like, huh, they must really be heavy. I didn't think they were quite that heavy. And so I go to start making the bed and everything, and I look over to see how Itty's doing, make sure she's not trying to jump out. And she's not there. I did that wrong. She is totally not there. And I think, oh my word, what thumped when I tossed those sheets down was Itty. Oh my word. So I dig her out of there. And she raises up like, what happened? Oh my word. Y'all. It was just poor Itty. That's all we have to say about that. She was, not hurt in any kind of way. Oh, bless. But that's my life. Anybody else got anything going on that they want to tell about? Anybody else tried to kill their dog while still in the bed? No? Just me? Okay. Gibson, you can't be here. He's over here trying to be all like, you've crafted long enough, Mom. I haven't, though, Gibbs. You gotta go. He's so pitiful, and I don't know if any of you guys are too familiar with pit bulls. They get the saddest, most pitiful looks on their face, and all you want to do is just pick them up and just kiss them and love on them and be like, your life is okay. It's okay. So his little rescued life, oh, he's a shame. He's so cute, though. And Isabel, our exchange student that we had this past year, taught him so many tricks. And he's really easy to teach tricks to, well, at least since she did it, because he's ruled by food. Like, you give him food. Now, he will do some tricks just for the fun of doing the tricks, because he gets the praise, and that's fun, too, for him. So, he is a funny dog. Of course, I've just said the word, so he's probably like, are we going to do some? No, not right now. That will be later this evening we'll do some. So now he likes to do them, and he gets so excited about, he does a high five, and it's not, oh, wrong glue. It's not just a high five with one hand. He has to do two because he's too excited to just do one. And it's so funny. And the more audience, he has that are cheering him on, like the happier and more excited he gets to do his tricks. It's just hilarious. And he does a fist bump. That one just totally cracks me up. He does a fist bump, and he does, he whispers. He'll do a whisper. And then Isabel taught him to make sound, which is just make a louder bark, But he whispers. He will go wait. And we had to teach him that because him and Paisley were deciding who was going to get out the door first. And it was like a competition. And then they were about to break the door. Well, they did break it a little bit, the screen door, because it slammed back and hit the side of the house and broke the little thing that that you can, you know, make the door stay open or shut, you know, on its own. I don't know what those things are called. But anyway, yep, broke it. So I'm going to have to replace that, but that's down the road. So, yeah, he had to be taught to wait, and he did pretty good. So I'm trying to think. He will jump over your leg, and he will go under your leg. He will go through your legs if you're standing apart, and then he will, okay, that fits there. He'll go through your legs and then sit after he goes through them. He's so stinking cute. And I'm trying to think. He will lay down and roll over. He does both. He can't just lay down. He has to lay down and roll over. It's just comical. And Paisley, you act like you're shooting her with a gun, and she'll lay down, and then you tell her to roll over while she's down there, and she'll do that. And she'll do a high five. Oh, he does a handshake. We're trying to teach Paisley to do a handshake. She's like, I don't really think I need, I forgot where I was putting this. She's like, I don't really think I need to do that. I'm not your trained monkey. I don't want to do all these things that Gibson does. He's stupid. I just know you're going to give me treats in my life. Why should I have to do something to get them? She's too smart for her own good. And she's smart enough to do it, but she just looks at you like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But if she does ever learn it and you praise her, you know, then she does want to still do it. She's so nutty. Nut bar, these crazy dogs. And you may not want to hear stories about my dogs, but they're my children, so. And then I also have stepchildren, and I adore them all. But they are grown, so, and I'm 1 year closer in age to my oldest stepdaughter than I am to my husband, so that's comical to me. And we are just the best of friends. But they live like 3 hours away, so I don't get to see them very much, and it's traumatizing. But my youngest stepdaughter, she sells paparazzi, y'all, and she is way up in the company now. She has done so well. Her name is Lucretia Shelton. If you ever want to buy some paparazzi or get on with somebody, definitely go with her. And she's done really, really well. And her husband now, then he was a police officer, and he's retired now and works the business with her. It is just interesting to me. Okay. So, whoop. Okay. Cut that one. I'm going to rip that one a little too long. So I've abused my dogs. I haven't abused my husband so far. I cooked some yummy food this week. We're trying to do a little bit healthier. We're vegetarian, but being a vegetarian doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy, because number one, I love cheese, and number two, I have a sweet tooth, so that is not helpful. And my husband, the doctor said he needs to lose 20 pounds if he's going to have back surgery. So he's also diabetic, which makes it really hard for him to lose weight, and he doesn't want to go on that Mounjaro or Ozempic or whatever, because he's scared of the side effects and stuff. So I'm a little bit scared of him too, but I think I'd risk it just because I'd like to be smaller. I've already had gastric bypass, but they even told me before I had it, they said do not expect to lose all that much because you're not going to. I've lost 120 pounds though. So, I mean, that's a big deal, and I realize you're thinking, my word, that's a whole entire person. Yes, it is. And man, I came away with so much energy after that. I don't even remember having that much energy before I gained the weight. But I have a hormone issue that makes my metabolism not work. Why am I telling you this? I overshare. That's why. So, anyway, so I've lost 120 pounds, and then it kind of just plateaued and stopped. So, I'm a little sad about that, but they did tell me that that would happen. And it's hard to exercise when you have back issues and stuff like that, and you just hurt a lot. And sorry, I think I'm off screen. I didn't need to be. Yep, so I would get on it, but anyway, he doesn't want to. So what I did was, I realized I've gone all kinds of off topic, but I decided I would make this, I made a cilantro jalapeno hummus, which by the way is so yummy, and it's a little bit spicy because the jalapenos are a little bit spicy, but you can make it not spicy if you just take the seeds out of your jalapenos, then you don't have spice. But we like a little bit of spice, so we left it in. So I made cilantro jalapeno hummus, and then I made tzatziki with lots of feta and cucumbers, and then we got some whole wheat and whole grain and whatever pita bread, and we've made our own crusty pitas by putting it in the oven and everything with a little bit of olive oil spray and garlic salt. And then we just cut up a whole bunch, well, Rob mostly did, cut up a whole bunch of fresh vegetables. And we have just eaten that for several days now, and it is so good, y'all. I mean, that's the kind of healthy eating that is yummy. So, and I highly recommend that. I do not like store-bought tzatziki, it's got to be said, because it just never tastes quite right. And sometimes they make it with sour cream instead of Greek yogurt. And so then that's like more fatty and stuff, and it tastes good, but I can't do all that fatty stuff or it makes me kind of nauseous. So make it with fat-free Greek yogurt, and you get all that protein, and it's so good for you. And then those fresh veggies, and that's really, you know, and very, very little of the pita bread, mostly the veggies. And that's like almost completely carb-free, which is what the doctor told him as a diabetic he would need to do. Y'all, I left that core there. How did I do that? Okay. This is going to dry out before I even get it glued down. So I'm not the fastest crafter, as you know, so this is taking a little while. I hope you're along for the ride and enjoying it. But we're going with a kind of sagey green color. And I like it. I love this polka dotted paper. So pretty. Love polka dots. I think polka dots, oh, look at me, that's all right. I'll fill that in with something else. And if I do leave a few gaps, I'm not concerned about it because I can decorate it, you know, with lace or put some scriptures in there or some sheet music or hymn music. And then I think it looks really fun. So we may only get this green one made, you know, because you guys do not want to be on here for like hours watching me glue paper to paper and tell random things about my life that you're like, thank you for oversharing, but you know, we're good. But that's okay. The stories will continue as soon as my problem is, like I've said before, I do not remember which ones I've told, and I'm pretty sure I've already told some of them twice. But, I mean, if you're new on here, it's no big deal. I have some doozies. I'll tell you what. I have some true doozies. So, I'll just tell this one real quick, which is one, if you don't go all the way back to the beginning of when I first started making videos, and if you are a repeat listener, bear with. But my friend Lisa, her mom had died in a car crash, and we were all, you know, kind of trying to support her and cheer her up and take her mind off of things. It's hard to be cheered, but if you just kind of do something else to take your mind off of it, if you can find a way to laugh, it will not take it away, but kind of just ease the burden a bit. So my niece and nephew were visiting, and they're more like ages of my siblings than actual niece and nephew, because my nephew was 15, my niece was like 17 or 17 and a half. And so my sister was in town, and everybody was going around. So we decided to go to the public docks and go swimming. Another friend of Lisa's and mine, Tanya. And so we went to the public docks in Grove, Oklahoma, y'all, if you've ever been. And we get there, and there's all these little fish jumping around. I mean, like scores of them, a bunch of fish. And I was like, oh, it's occupied here. We can't stay. And because I wasn't getting in there with all those. It was like, they were jumping around, all just kind of having a heyday. And I was like, well, that seems just like a really bad idea for me, because nature's against me. And so I decide, or my friend Lisa said, oh no, that's just shad. She said they nibble, but they don't bite. And as soon as you get in the water, she's like, they're going to swim away. They are not going to have anything to do with us. They will not want to stay. And I was like, are you sure? Because they look like they're pretty proud and happy to be where they're at. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm sure. And I was like, okay. And I trusted her. Y'all, I trusted her. My friend Lisa is a character. And she is not afraid at all to play tricks on people. And I knew this, but I still trusted her. Can y'all sense what's going to happen? Okay. So we get in the water, and also the water was quite cold that day. I don't know why. It was June, sometime in June. The water was cold. But anyway, that doesn't bother me. I love to swim. I'm going to get in the water if I have access. So we all get in, and my niece and my sister, they like didn't get in, and they like barely touched the water, and they're like, no, thank you. We're not going to do that. And so then they left. But my nephew and my friend Lisa and I, we got in. My friend Tanya, she decided to lay out and suntan. I don't do that. I burn. So we get in. I'm in the water for not very long, just a few minutes, but having a good time because it feels good. There's some fishermen over on the side. Not near us, but close enough that we could see them and they could see us. But they were doing their thing. We were doing ours. So it's important to the story. That's why I tell you this random bit of information. So I'm thinking, now that piece is too skinny. I'm throwing it away. Hi, Gibson. I'm still crafting. Go, please. Go lay down. I know you're cute. Y'all, he's killing me over here. Anyway, so we're in the water not very long, and a fish jumped up and hit me right between the eyes. I just did that the wrong way again. Yeah, he hit me right between the eyes. And I look at Lisa because I figure she's thrown something at me. Although in my mind I knew it was a fish. She's dying laughing. And so that's why also that I assumed she'd thrown something at me. No, she hadn't. It was a fish. And I was like, oh my, she goes, did you see that fish? My word, it hit you right between the eyes. And I was like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm still feeling it, and I'm grossed out. Obviously, the fish don't want us here, so I'm going to need to get out. So they're like, no. I was like, yeah, no, overstayed my welcome, so I got to get out. So I decided to lay out with Tanya and get a burn. And Lisa and my nephew stayed in the water, and I'd been out for a little while, and they were like, come on, Peggy, get back in. Now, why it was important for me to get back in the water, I don't know. I assumed they were waiting for something more to happen to me, and just, it could. It definitely could happen. So, they're begging me to get back in, and they're like, see, it was a fluke. They haven't bothered anybody else. It's a total fluke. And I'm all, okay. Again, I believed. Why I never learned my lesson, I do not know. I don't know. So anyway, I decide to get back in the water. And I'm in the water, y'all, about 2 minutes. I'm not even lying. And a fish jumps up and slaps me on both sides of my face and then jumps down right down my swimsuit. So it was like, boop, boop, poof, right down. Yeah, and I did not immediately realize that it was in my swimsuit. I did realize it had slapped me on both sides of my face, and I was in a little bit of shock. But again, I'm thinking my friend Lisa has thrown something at me, though I don't realize how she could have hit me on both sides of my face with it. So I knew it was a fish, but, you know, you're just kind of like in denial. She is dying laughing, and she's trying to make her way to the ladder because she's going to drown because she's laughing so hard. My nephew is sitting up on the dock about ready to jump, and he is just cracking up because he saw it happen. Well, about that time, I'm all Lisa, and about that time realized where this fish is. And I'm well endowed, and I'm plushy. I wasn't as plushy then as I am now, but that's not the point. But the point is, there was plenty of room for the fish to get in there, and he was, on a downward, gravity kind of thing happening. My word, y'all. I am telling you, this thing, I feel it, and I immediately, you pull your swimsuit forward, and you're kind of leaning forward in the water, and my built-in floating devices keep me from drowning. So I am trying to encourage this fish to get out of my swimsuit. And I'm telling you, the fish started going south, headed to Christmas. And I was like, no, you may not. And I'm flipping out. And I am just like, I'm sure I'm screaming and screeching. I don't remember any of that. All I remember is thinking, I'm going to have to come out of my swimsuit right here at the public docks. God and everybody's going to see. Merry Christmas to you. And because of the built-in floating devices, you can't hide those suckers. Well, I'm still trying to encourage the fish to come out, and he can't. He's not. He's still headed south. And I was like, nope. So I came out of my swimsuit, y'all, at the public docks, in front of my nephew, in front of the fishermen, in front of my friend Lisa, and everything floats. And I'm trying to hunch forward, so that it's not doing that. And then if you know anybody who has got a large behind, then that begins to float. So then that's coming up in the air, y'all. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to either moon somebody or they're going to see everything else. I don't know what's going on. I am, at this point, just beside myself. And I'm trying to figure out which thing to use next. Anyway, it was a horrible, horrible situation. The fish finally, as I'm out of my swimsuit, is like, oh, freedom! Yeah. And the fishermen are on, like, the side, and they're, like, clapping. At first, they were, like, staring, and then they realized I was, mostly naked. So then they're clapping at this point and just rejoicing at the show. It was not good. And so my nephew's covering up his eyes going, I've seen too much. My friend Lisa is drowning because she's laughing so hard she's swallowing water. I'm trying not to face plant and have my behind all like floating up in the air. And now I realize in order to get out of this water, I'm going to have to put on this wet swimsuit while I'm in the water and try not to expose more of myself or drown. It was a feat of some sort of, I couldn't do it now. I probably couldn't do it now. I just have to get out and flash everybody. But my word, this is my life. This is what happened. This is reality of what actually happened. And, yeah, so if you can believe it, and you can, because it happened. So, just telling you, these are the types of things that happen in my life. And, stick around if you want to hear more. I did manage to finally get that swimsuit back on, just in case you were wondering about that portion of the story. And I did it again. I went the wrong way. Yep, my poor nephew was scarred for life. Oh, not the end of the story. I finally, get it together. We decide to leave at this point. Poor Tanya missed all of it because she had fallen asleep. She finally awakened, with all the hullabaloo, but kind of just missed everything that was going on. And, yeah, so when we get home, I get immediately in the shower because I am washing off these fishy scales and everything that's on me. I feel completely gross. Plus, if you're swimming in the lake, you definitely want to take a shower straight away because, ew. But anyway, I didn't even talk to anybody. I wasn't, I just went immediately to the shower. I was like, blah. So, unbeknownst to me, when I get out of the shower, the whole family's dying laughing because my nephew has gone and told the whole story. My niece doesn't even bother to laugh and stuff about it because she's on the phone telling all her friends who I knew, most of them, and she is just like calling everybody and telling them what happened to her aunt that day. Y'all, this is just the nature of me. I'm telling you, this is what happens to me. Yeah, so anybody else have anything embarrassing, traumatizing that they would like to share? Because I would sure love to not be the only one. There are more, because nature is against me, and that's one of the chapters in my book that I've not written yet, but that is alive. There are many chapters. There is Why I No Longer Go to Water Parks. Wish there was only one of those stories, but sadly, no, multiples. There's many Nature's Against Me stories. There is awkward doctor visits. Ooh, I don't tell those. There's strange encounters with strangers. And I don't know if it's called Strange Encounters with Strangers or Uncomfortable Encounters with Strangers is probably more like it. Yeah. Yep. That's just super fun. And I think I've used all of those. Here's a tiny little piece. It matches, but I don't want it to match. Let's see. Ooh, maybe I'll use a little piece of map right there. Oh, that didn't tear well. This is map that I have coffee dyed to make it look even older. It wasn't a terribly new map to begin with, but it was newer and I wanted to make it look old, so I coffee dyed it, and that's kind of fun. Yeah, there is the Summer of Falling, and just in general, oops, I did it again because I fall a lot, because I'm a clumsy person. And you ever been talking with your hands and just knock things clean off shelves and stuff? In a store, no less. Yeah, I try not to talk to people in stores for fear of using my hands and having everything go awry. Now, as you can see, we are done with this masterboard, and it is a little warped. This is what happens when you use a water-based glue. But I can't get that in there. But a water-based glue is usually cheaper, and you can iron it. When it dries, it flattens out a little bit more than it is right now. So it's a little warped, but it will, and I will iron it, and then it will be done. So I'm just gonna go get my scissors, pardon my arm, and trim a little bit around the edges. I didn't do too bad of leaving a bunch of overhang. I need to sharpen my scissors. I heard somebody say, I think it was Carrie, the paper monkey, said that Fiskars will sharpen your scissors for you. So I probably need to get online and find out, if you have to send them to them, or if there's like, if you take them somewhere. I just need to find that out. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed scrap busting today. I'm gonna have to do a few scrap busting videos, or I may just continue making some of these masterboards to get rid of my piles of scraps. I would like to not have that drawer completely dedicated to scraps. So if I could if I could eliminate that, and that would give me an extra drawer for my fabrics and laces and fun things, instead of it taking up scraps. I'd rather just have like a tiny scrap bin that I go to for filling in things. There we go. And now it's all put together, and you can cut it apart and decorate it up and everything, but I'm going to let that go ahead and dry for a couple of hours, and then, you know, I'll just make some and then have them ready. And then when I need like a tag or a pocket or something like that in whatever color, I can go there and fix it up. Now, I would not have chosen that much colors together, so I'm going to have to cut those apart really, so I don't have so much of that same color together. But anyway, there we go. And I hope that you enjoyed it and all of my nonsense. Wish it wasn't true, but sadly it is. Hugs to everybody, and bye.